Oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about in today's video. Welcome to the channel, everybody. My name is Drew, and this is Generation Crypto, and today we've got a lot to cover when it comes to the Drip network. So without any further ado, let's honestly just hop right into it because we got a lot to cover. So the first thing we're going to do, as always, is we're going to talk about the charts when it comes to the Drip network. So today, this is on the 24-hour charts on CoinMarketCap, and as I have to mention each time, it is going to be a higher price on the actual native DEX because of the lack of the 10% buy fee. So it's going to be a little bit higher there, but I do like to use CoinMarketCap just because I feel like the charts here are much easier to look at and to read, especially over the history of the token. So we can see here on the day, we started out pretty green, but we've seen some red throughout the end of the day. Looking at the 7-day charts, we can see that we've had a consistent drop over the course of the last 7 days, which is a trend we've been seeing since basically the all-time high of Drip all the way back in February. Now over here on the month charts, we see that we have a much more green chart. So we started to have a rally up into a peak, which was about the 14th of August. And then since then, we've kind of been being back down, probably towards a consolidation point. Looking at the 90-day chart, we can see a little bit more of the drop. And then, of course, this is the month chart we were looking at before. We had a significant chunk bitten back into the drop that we experienced over the course of the last 90 days. And we started to have a subtle decrease on price as well. Now, a lot of people are anticipating that as we get the launch of the animal farm and as other things come out, we should see quite a reversal in price. But as always, none of this is known for certain. No one can predict the future. We can only make educated decisions based upon track records and the information that we've been presented. So all of you guys, of course, make your own decisions and take responsibility for your own financial actions. I'm just here to present the information so you guys can go out and do more research. So now that we've gone over the charts, let's get on to the next item of business. Okay, so the next item of business is Dapp. So Dapp is something that's recently come out to show a red alarms list by clicking the red alarms kind of dead skull button here in the top right corner, where it's going to show you guys what Binance Smart Chain or Binance considers to be high risk projects that they deem untrustworthy and carry extremely high levels of risk. Now, if we actually scroll down on this chart here, we can actually see fairly quickly that Drip is indeed listed on this chart as one that they consider to have significant risk as a project. After clicking on Drip, it shows here that Drip has significant risk and that Drip gives 365% ROI from taxes, not inflation. And then, of course, if you click the Try Now button, it will take you to the Drip website and then goes over some of the things here of why it considers the security to be wrong. They're basically saying it doesn't function as it's described to do so, which is why they put it to have significant risk. Now, this is actually something that Forex Shark has already addressed, being given a significant risk. So let's go ahead and jump on over to Telegram to see his response about this issue. Okay, so we can see this came directly from Forex himself. He says, just got out of a meeting with BSC News. They will be publishing a news article about Drip and the animal farm launching in the next few days. I also am in discussion with Binance to adjust the risk rating for Drip to low. They had a bit of a misunderstanding regarding the referral structure. They were under the impression that the faucet does multi-level commissions, which increases the referral commissions as you go higher in the upline, and were not aware just how decentralized and secure Drip is. This can be a common misconception, so it's very important we work as a community to share the mechanics of Drip in a coherent way. So we can see here that he's already in communication with Binance to go ahead and get the risk ratio for Drip network to go from extremely high risk all the way down to low risk. So we'll have to keep an eye on this and see if Binance actually follows through with reducing the risk associated on the Dapp website. But it sounds like there was some misunderstanding on their team about how the project actually works. They assumed that there was some conflict between what was advertised and how it actually works. So we'll have to see if adjustments are made, and if those adjustments do get made, I will make sure to update and notify you guys about those changes. Now, I will say this, Dapp has been a sticking point for a lot of people that have been fudding on the Drip project, basically pointing towards the fact that this is evidence that Drip is a Ponzi scheme or that it has other alarming issues with it, which is understandable. If you see something like this on Dapp, I could see why some people might be hesitant to get involved with a project like Drip if it's listed on this website. So hopefully this is something that gets resolved rather quickly by Forex Shark and his team, so this doesn't continue to persist to be an issue. Now, I was actually notified today that a smaller content creator actually had a reply video to my response to OnChain that he released about a week or so ago. And this is the video in question. It was released by a guy named Big Archie and Money with 1.4 thousand subscribers. And he basically is just hitting on the same points as OnChain does, and is basically just saying that it's a Ponzi scheme with, yet again, no evidence to support where in the contract or the way that Drip works of why it is as he claims it to be. And it doesn't appear that he fully listened to my OnChain video, where I basically explained to him that it does not require new investors coming into the ecosystem to pay out because of the other utilities in the ecosystem, where as you are as an individual, you could have literally nobody new coming in the ecosystem. It's the same people in the Drip network, all utilizing the services like the lending protocols, like the scratchies, like the other things that are going to be utilized in the protocol that are going to generate revenue for the Faucet contract users, on top of the fact that even if there is no transactions, new tokens will be minted to pay out the holders. And this is all laid out in plain English on their white paper and on their other forums and in the AMAs that Forex has been holding, like he held today. So there is no deception involved. So let's listen to what he has to say about Ponzi schemes really quickly. I'm going to show you guys why this just is not accurate.
Investors and pays profits to early investors with funds from most recent investors. This is the key. It has nothing to do with, oh, you got to recruit people. It doesn't matter if you recruit people or not. It's if you're luring investors and pays profits to early investors with funds from more recent investors. And that's what Drip is doing. It's paying early investors with transaction fees or taxes from more recent investors. And it even says it right here on their white paper. If you go to their white paper, it tells you here, the 1% daily return on investment is sustainable through tax on transactions. And what made me also create this is that Generation Crypto actually made a video trying to address what OnChain Crypto was talking about in a video where he addressed some fraud that was going on with Drip. And even when he addressed what OnChain was saying, he basically came into the video and explained a Ponzi scheme and said that it wasn't a Ponzi scheme.
Voting a Ponzi or a pyramid scheme and doing it on the blockchain doesn't save you from charges from the SEC and from other government bodies. However, as many of you may know, this is not in any way how the Drip network in and of itself works. So one of the common questions that get asked is, where then do the funds come from for the 1% payouts that people are receiving if you do not have to do any type of recruiting involved in the ecosystem? And the answer to that is the tax systems. So in the actual Faucet itself, there is a tax system in place, which my video goes over. And of course, there's also taxes for any other utility in the ecosystem. So anytime someone's buying, selling, or transferring, and basically transacting with the Drip network, there are taxes involved at 10%, which all go towards the rewards pool, which is paying up for those stakers that are in the Faucet contract itself.
So as you see, I don't think that Generation Crypto actually understands what an actual Ponzi scheme is, because if you're literally making money off of transactions and that's driving your whole project, then essentially you're running a Ponzi scheme.
Okay, so we'll stop it right there. So you guys could hear a little bit of his video. I would actually, like I said before, I don't like to ever take people out of context. So I will leave a link to his video down in the video description, so you guys can go watch the full video of what he says to verify I'm not taking him out of context. So there's a lot to address in what he said there, and I don't want to make this video all about addressing his video in particular, just because I don't want to make my channel about drama, about what this content creator is saying or what that content creator is saying. However, with what he said, he basically said that I explained what it is and that I don't understand how a Ponzi works. But when he explained it, he didn't quite properly explain how a Ponzi works himself at all. Because the key component to a Ponzi scheme is the idea that there is deception, because that is the definition of fraud. He even mentions this in his video. So fraud is when you have willful deception for the purpose of financial gain. So I would ask him or OnChain or any of these other people, where is the deception in the Drip network ecosystem? Where is the deception where people are being told one thing, but in actuality, something else is actually occurring? That is what is the key factor in any Ponzi scheme, is the idea that there is fraud. If there's no fraud, it can't be a Ponzi. Now, as far as the fact that you're saying you're taking money from new investors and you're paying that out to the old investors, that's not what's happening. As we explained before, that is called money shuffling, and that's what a Ponzi scheme actually is and how that actually works. Because what's happening is people are being lied to. There's deception. They're being told that there is a legitimate source of revenue, and that source of revenue is what's paying them their returns, when in actuality, it's the money from the new investors. That's the deceptive portion of how a Ponzi scheme works. And that is not at all what is happening in the Drip Network ecosystem. It comes from the transaction taxes that come from the other utilities, which are products in the ecosystem. As we mentioned before, we have the Drip Liberation contract, we have the animal farm staking protocols, we have the Drip Garden. Of course, to come, we have the Scratchies. So people are using the Scratchies there to gamble, which is going to generate revenue, which is going to pay into the transaction system. And of course, we have the lending protocol, the several different games that are going to be involved, like the hacker game and everything else that's coming out into the ecosystem that are all providing real product utilities that people can utilize in order to generate revenue. On top of the fact that it also will generate new tokens in order to pay this out. And this is all coming from a contract, not directly from new investors. In fact, if you're participating in the faucet currently, then you are also contributing towards that tax system as well, and it doesn't require new people coming in. So as I mentioned before, it does not require new investors, and this is the same for literally every cryptocurrency. Basically speaking, if you have any type of stock or cryptocurrency, you are relying that other investors are going to be coming in, buying the stock or the crypto at a higher price than you sold it at in order to turn a profit. So by his definition of what he was trying to explain before, literally every cryptocurrency and most stocks would be considered a Ponzi according to him if that was how they all functioned, because they were all require that same thing. He covers extensively other cryptocurrencies on his channel, including SafeMoon, and he talks positively of SafeMoon, even though a lot of people in the SafeMoon community are waiting for other people to buy in so that they can earn reflections from the other holders, which is literally when you're taking money from the new people coming in and passing it around to the old investors. It's the same thing. So by your same definition, would SafeMoon then be considered a Ponzi by the same metrics that you're pushing onto the Drip Network ecosystem? Like I mentioned before, with the Drip Network ecosystem, you could literally have nobody else coming in, and you could have no products, and it's still going to pay out the 1% rewards because the tokens will be minted in order to accomplish that goal. Of course, the value of those tokens over time will get reduced to the point where it will be nearly impossible to make a return on profit, which is why the utility and the use case that's being brought into the ecosystem to fortify the price over time. So again, I don't want to go on a whole rant about how this all works. I've already explained how the Drip Network ecosystem works extensively in several of my videos. So I will extend this same invite to Big Arch and Money that I did to OnChain. Both of you guys, or one of you individually, or both of you collectively, are more than welcome to come onto my channel, do a live stream with me, and talk about Drip in an open format. Whether you want to do it here on YouTube, on Twitter, we can stream it to both platforms. However you want to do it, I would love to have an open dialogue about it, pros and cons to the project, and what we may see as positive or negative when it comes to the project itself, rather than just doing video back and forth, so that we can get things cleared out. Now, from my perspective, it sounds like you don't fully grasp or understand from the content that I've seen from you how the Drip Network actually works in detail. And it seems like that there's a bit of confusion there in your explanation of how a Ponzi works, because as I previously mentioned, that would basically apply to almost every reflection token, and that would apply to pretty much any other token that provides any form of farming or staking because of what you described. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's go ahead and move on over to the next item. Now, one of the other things that was addressed in the Telegram post that we read earlier was the fact that there was going to be a new news article talking about the animal farm from BSC News, and that did indeed come out. So I will leave a link to this article that was posted by BSC News, as Forex Shark himself announced, and this came out on August 18th. So if you guys want to go ahead and read through this, it does give a pretty good description and breakdown of the Animal Farm version 2, the changes that are coming to the ecosystem. If you guys want to spend the time to read through that, because this video is already going to probably be pretty long, I don't want to take the time to read through this. And I already did a little bit of a video earlier, if you want to go back on my channel, where I talked about some of the differences between the version 1 and version 2 of the Animal Farm. If you guys want to go ahead and check out that information for yourself, the link will be in the video's description. One other thing to go over as well is that Forex also recently put a post out here where he showed a teaser for what the Drip's new UI is going to look like. So we knew we got the video several months ago, kind of giving us an idea, but here's some updated images of what the Drip swap looks like. And then here's an updated image of what the Drip Faucet will look like. So it's got a much more clean and kind of, as Forex has described himself, more of a more modern bank looking like style to this new design. I personally really like this design. It looks very professional in my honest opinion. And I look forward to seeing this UI actually put into practice once it officially comes out. On top of that, he did mention that he would be doing an interview with Mike at 2 p.m. on Tuesday, which we are going to be covering here in just a second. So let's go ahead and move over to that now. Okay, so this is the interview from today, at least at the time of recording this video, where he had the interview with Mike. So I will leave a link to Mike's channel and this particular interview so you guys can go and watch the full 1 hour and 28 minutes. But there's a part here about 15 minutes in where basically Forex Shark himself announces that the launch of the Animal Farm is going to be in the first week of October, and we'll be getting the specific date on that specific date launch will be on next Tuesday. So exactly a week from today, we'll know the exact date of the relaunch of the Animal Farm, and it's going to be in the first week of October. So let's listen to Forex Shark say this himself.
Then Animal Farm goes live early October, in the first week of October. And I'm releasing some alpha right here. So you'll get the exact date next Tuesday, but it's in the first week of October. We'll be going live with Animal Farm.
Okay, so you heard it from Forex Shark himself that launch is going to be the first week of October. And of course, we're going to be releasing a lot of content as we lead up to that, as I'm sure Forex will be doing a lot of AMA. So I would highly recommend you guys go through and listen to the entire 1 hour and 28 minutes. You could, of course, put that on a higher speed to get through that much quicker. But I would recommend watching the entire AMA from today, as there is a lot of educational information about what the Animal Farm is going to look like in the future, as well as what the roadmap is going to look like as they release all of the different things that are coming to the Drip network and Animal Farm ecosystems by the end of this year, with the beginning of the year looking like the lending protocols and the insurance protocols coming out at the beginning of next year. Okay, so that was a lot of information that we covered today about the Drip network ecosystem. I know today was kind of a scramble of a video. We were dropping from topic to topic, but I had a lot to catch up on when it comes to getting you guys updated on what's going on in the Drip network ecosystem. So if you're still with me at this point in the video, I greatly appreciate you guys. Don't forget to drop a like on the video, as it really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing and clicking the notification bell so you guys can be notified when I produce new content. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and I will catch you all in my next video. Cheers.